The boys are back.
Banger intro. That one gets me every time. That one gets me every time.
I know I need to get a few more of these. These AI tools are just way too good now.
Yo, it's crazy. It is crazy, man. I was just telling these guys off stream how AI saved me at least $500, probably more like $1,000 plus 3 or 4 days of labor for a water leak here when I got back home, and like just plugged it up. Literally took pictures, drew arrows about like what tube this is. We had a water leak here. Pump room. I have a pump room. I have a cistern. What do you think this is? And fucking Gemini literally one shot it. It was like, check your cistern, check valve. And sure enough, the check valve, which is basically like the ball you see in the back of a toilet that like rises up and turns off the water, had literally like rusted off and fallen off. It was literally floating in the tank. And that was the fucking thing. It was like, that's it. And that's like a $20. Just go buy a new one at Home Depot and install it. Like, damn. AI, baby. It's the future.
I guess the only question is, what are you using Gemini for, bro? I mean, like, how did you end up on Gemini? Of all choices, you end up on Gemini. I don't know.
Bro, you know what it is? You know what it is? The way I break it down is which one, when I'm looking at like solving a problem, something like that, it's like which one has the deepest insight to like humanity. And I think Gemini is the winner there. I think it just with YouTube Shorts, all that sort of stuff. I think Gemini has the like how-to if you need to how-to something, I think Gemini's the one.
Well, it looks like Google, as of an hour ago, just released something called Gemma, which is their research. It looks like a research model. I swear Google's AI suite is something new. Literally every other day, there's some sort of new AI model for some sort of specific use case. Gemma, I guess, is their open model. Built from the same world-class research as Gemini, Gemma 4 brings breakthrough intelligence directly to your hardware. So it's a local AI LLM they're competing against. I guess this would be their competitor to Facebook's Llama, which is open. But man, it's tough to keep up.
Man, it is incredible. The the Claude release of the accidental wasn't an accident. I got fed last night. That was April Fool's, but then it's really not April Fool's. It's hard to know what the hell is going on out here. It's so much fake news, but it's the landscape is shifting so fast in AI. It's hard. I don't know how you keep up. I honestly, I wouldn't want to be one of these LLM companies because it just feels like, bro, you're on a treadmill running at 100 miles an hour. And the moment you stumble, it's like it's over for you. Like it just seems like that's the race. And for the consumer, it's going to be it's only going to get less expensive. It's only going to get easier. It's only going to get better, and that's really exciting. And we know, like what I did with my AI to figure out a problem, like an in real life problem, like 99.999% of people are not using it for that yet at all, right? And so we're still very early to this wave.
That we are. We're always very early. Some emblem updates. Brainlit crossed the 10% threshold yesterday. Now they're at 16%. Brew at 30%.
Sweet.
And we completed a migration yesterday with MCV, who had 80-something%. That was a fast one. That was a unique one. There's always new and interesting ideas that people bring to the migrations. So we decided that any migration that's under 7 days has to be a 0% penalty migration to protect the users. Adam and I had a call today with Bobo this morning. So that will be starting here pretty soon of EVM migrations. And he said that there's other ETH meme projects that'll likely follow suit as long as everything goes according to plan.
Yep.
Makes you wonder then if Base or BNB or any other EVM project will want to migrate to Sol, or if any of these other blockchain foundations will want to pivot it the other way and migrate people from Sol or ETH over to Base. It's a game that we will find out, but those are coming. So that's the Migrate Fund update. I think likely tomorrow or Saturday, I'll set up the emblem migration over the weekend so that it will appear on Migrate Fund. We're actually using the first the new dashboard that we've been building for permissionless migrations that we've been building for 3.5, 4 months at this point. We'll be using for the Emblem migration, and then it'll be public for the Boba migration. So once that's up and live, then people don't even have to come talk to us, although I'm sure that they always will. They could just go to the website and just go ahead and set up the migration on their own. We're going to put in a bunch of safety requirements and things to prevent spam and malicious attacks and stuff. I'm sure we won't be able to get all of them immediately, but we're going to put as many protective mechanisms in place for Migrate Fun, so that it can have a successful time out there in the public. And then eventually add some tokenomics to it for Emblem.
I think part of the learning process for us over the last, 3 or 4 months, as we've had kind of these edge cases, is like, oh shit, we need to set up a standard here, right? So if these guys want to do a, 48-hour, 24-hour migration, what do we want to do on the other side to make this, safer for the users, avoid the straight rugs, just try to kind of walk through these things. And I don't think we'll have it perfect out of the gate, but setting up these things, okay, well, if you're doing less than 7 days, well, it's got to be a 0% penalty for late claimers. If you're doing 100% penalty, maybe it has to be over 14 days. These sort of things, just to try and protect people and make a kind of transparent playing field for all players, I think is important. And it's kind of like our role now that we're like the migration team. And that's great. Like getting to set the standards like this it's actually like an honor to be able to do that. Right. And try to create the best kind of transparent playing field for everybody. It's pretty exciting.
Yeah, we're getting down to the fun stuff, as long as the migration demand continues, talking with market makers, figuring out how to automate them within the migration process. Same with exchanges, talking with exchanges about how to make it simple for projects who are migrating to get listed, or for the exchanges to be a little bit more automated in the exchange process to make it all as fast as possible. Talking with a few other products to be a part of what we would call like a Migrate Fund store. So once a migration's done, things like buyback vehicles or marketing vehicles, different things like that, privacy vehicles, things that migration teams have asked for, figuring out the right partners and add that in. And obviously we'd want to make this all frictionless. As more tokens will continue to evolve, and as lock liquidity pools continue to become the norm for launching tokens, obviously the migration standard will be there. There's also some kind of interesting ideas with some exchanges saying they've been looking for a migration standard that they can kind of offload. So that probably evolves into some sort of white label kind of stuff. And then obviously packaging it all together to see how they can list the Emblem token and not basically have to sacrifice my unborn child to get it listed. It's all a game, right? It's all strategy, and yeah, it's going well though.
It is. I mean,
it's going. I mean, I've
it's going. It is what it, honestly, talking to the exchanges is the most like brutal part. Like even, teams you work with closely and stuff, it's like, oh yeah, and our standard price is $100,000. It's like, dude, honestly, I just have no interest in it. Right. It's just, you see, even talking with other teams, the value of an exchange listing is rapidly racing to zero. And I think all of us who are deep in the space recognize that. That said, there's still this thing. It's like, what exchanges are you on? You're not legitimate if you don't have exchanges. And so, there's still this kind of dichotomy, but it definitely feels like the space is moving away from this. Like the added value of having an exchange is just, it's running to zero, and it's not worth, for almost every team, almost universally, it's not worth the hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's just not. And so, yeah, we're taking it all with a grain of salt.
Yeah, the weirdest part of it is a monkey see, monkey do game. I talk about this a lot. It's which tier 1 exchange are you listed on to get listed on the other tier 1s. But then when you talk to like the smaller exchanges, it's a $20,000 to $50,000 listing. But if you're listed on a tier 1, then maybe they'll waive the fee as long as you do some sort of marketing fee. And it's like, don't you think that would be the opposite, right? It's like, if you're not listed anywhere, you would want that token listed on your exchange because that's where it's going to trade. That's where you're going to make money and fees. But it's yeah, the model maybe change some point here in the future whenever the on-chain economy kind of surpasses the off-chain, which will happen at some point in the future. It's why all the exchanges are creating L2s and stuff like that, because they know that that time is coming near to an end here in the future.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing here is that, exchanges are going to be exchanges, but the coolest thing that we have going on is the first Ethereum to Solana migration. It's super under the radar right now, but I mean, that's the cool unlock of Migrate Fund. There's so many tokens that are trapped on Ethereum, and now the first one is finally making the move to Solana. What does that mean for all the other Ethereum tokens that haven't gotten any traction because all the trading activity is happening on a different blockchain? I'm not sure, but we're finally about to see. So really, really big innovation here with the Bobo migration coming up from Ethereum to Solana. OG meme, huge community. They're excited about it. I think it might spark some interest in some Ethereum memes to make a jump as well. But under the radar, and kind of looking forward to getting them over to the other side.
Let me ask you guys, are you guys seeing any base content? Base is completely vanished from my timeline. And I don't know if it's just, I've gotten so siloed into, I don't know, AI that I've just like lost base completely. Are you guys seeing base content at all?
I did see a post the other day that base transactions is now actually lower than it was before the OpenClaw banker boom in January. So it's actually the transaction volume is actually fallen off a cliff.
Wow.
I did see a raise today for some chess company that did raise $5 million. So every time I think about it, I think about that was one of Chris's and I's first idea like 5-6 years ago.
Yeah.
On-chain chess.
Yep, with like micro bets, so you can just.
And these guys raised $5 million.
It's because you know how it is. There's no product, so that's how you raise money. Once the product exists, then there's no opportunity to raise money anymore. Although a kind of cool sign I did see today was, and Pump Fund's kind of drinking its own juice here, where they've been talking about the future of raising money is actually with projects who've launched tokens already, and it becomes more of like a liquid kind of fun adventure because it shows kind of proof of concept with the community. There's a project, I've been following this project for a little while too, called Pumpcade.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Yeah, it's like I don't even know how to describe it. It's like an interactive tokenized prediction market or something like that. I don't know, Chris, how would you describe it?
Like a gamified trading experience, pretty much.
Yeah, they launched on Pump Fund and by a long time ago. It was probably maybe 6 months to a year ago. They were one of the hackathon winners for $250K, and then they ended up spinning that into a $1 million raise that was oversubscribed. And Pump Fund was talking about this through the hackathon, is that they think the future of raising capital is actually by projects who have tokens launched already. And so obviously they're kind of tooting their own horn here, because the idea of that would be launch your token on Pump Fund, buy 10, 20, 30% of it on the market, and then go and continue to build the product as the market kind of prices it. But this is a strong sign of maybe what's to come, hopefully. I mean, right, we've faced the turmoil over the last 10 years of if you had a token launch, these VCs don't want to throw any money at it, right? This project that has traction, a lot of community can only raise $1 million, but a non-existent chess company can raise $5 million on base.
Bro, chess. Didn't Shannon just make like some chess game in like 5 minutes now? I mean, it's like, what's the barrier for entry for making a chess betting game? I mean, like 0, right? All this stuff is like, it's going to happen so fast. I don't even think you need to raise anymore. Like, what do you even need to raise money for? Like, if you can make this thing in 3 days with you and your AI, like, what do you need money for? Other than reach? And I don't know. It's just like, I don't know. Maybe just the reach is paying influencers with some token that, you've already launched, kind of thing. I don't know. There can be some real interesting stuff here as kind of entrepreneurs get this AI in their hands where they can just build stuff over weekends. It's insane, man.
So this is Pixie Chess, $5.2 million raised. Deployer was one of the people who raised, actually, who's the creator of Banker.
Banker, yeah.
So Pixie Chess. It is magical chess for real money. I don't know if it's like agentic chess or what it is, but I did see some like AI people posting about it, something about magical chess. Maybe it is just AI. And what Shannon did build was 2 AIs playing chess that you can bet on using USDC. And that was all built through Emblem Build. Speaking of Emblem Build, we did get a demo yesterday of Emblem Build. Kind of wild product. I don't think there's anything like this. So I guess maybe a little teaser of it. If you've never built a vibe coding application, I'd recommend trying to do this. I see some people in the Telegram always kind of front running what's to come, which is generally, the right idea. But Shannon built this. I don't want to say the name out, but essentially a army of AI agents who will code your application on, it's called a cron job, but basically 24/7, 365. Basically, there's like 10 to 15 agents, and you basically just give them tasks, and they even recommend tasks to do, and it basically gets put on a to-do list, and they just build this shit in the background. Like you don't even have to do anything. And they'll just, sometimes the agents will pop in and give you a reminder or a suggestion. They're like, hey, we're on this task, but we've built these things. Maybe you should do this instead of these ones. And it's pretty wild, some of the stuff that's been built. I think it's truly a game changer. From the other vibe coding applications, and I'm not going to shit on any of them, but I did see the Noah AI guys post about a horrible April Fool's joke about getting acquired for $200 million by Anthropic. And I've said this I think I said this last April Fool's joke. If you have any teams who are posting April Fool's jokes about getting acquired, you should probably run as far away from them, because if the biggest moment in attention they could get is a fake acquisition, that just shows you their intention of what their whole thing is to get acquired. They're not even focused on building the product, right? Or maybe not as much focus on the community as much as focus on what the outcome could be.
Yeah, I'm just psyched about just to use what Shannon's built and be able to do it in public. I think it's going to be awesome. Just releasing stuff. Get ready to release. I'm going to start just releasing shit. And whether or not that shit has tokens attached, who gives a fuck? Yeah, probably a lot, like every day, right? And just to try stuff, because this is the time to just be out there building stuff, doing stuff. This is it, man. This is like, there's no better time. And so I would expect massive volumes of projects to be launched from the Emblem team, bro. It's going to be at least one a day, like no question, one a day. We might do like, I don't know, the 30 days of May, where it's like we build every day and just launch something new every day, because it's going to be sick.
And that's the thing, is that you have a build product that's built by one of the best builders in crypto. Shannon has been building in crypto for 15 years. He's been so early, not only on just the idea side, but the execution side and the innovation side. And he's built this to help himself build all these other products. So not only like as is our internal rate of launches going to accelerate, but he's kind of breaking down all the barriers so that everyone else can use his process to build what they want as well within, and they'll obviously use Emblem Vault infrastructure to build it. So it's not every day that you kind of have, a top tier builder that's building tools so that other people can build with, you know what I mean? And, this isn't just some random low level developer that's like, oh, I'm going to build the next great vibe coding platform. This is like an elite top tier level developer that's giving you all the sauce, all the tools that you need to build extremely high quality crypto and Web3 products in days. And it's really incredible. It's going to be fun to see it come to life.
Yeah, and it doesn't even have to be a crypto product to start, which is kind of wild. I saw some like just analytic kind of tools. There was a market maker bot that I saw in building, which was actually had some profits on it. You can build, I use this example a lot, but if you're like an Etsy person and you have your own kind of web store, you could just use Emblem Build to attach a wallet to it, right? So you can kind of accept in crypto or an AI agent or whatever you want. So I think the explosion of creativity should be pretty nice. And we are talking with some other potential partners to figure out how to monetize those applications. And there's a lot of interest around it. For us, the hard part, the toughest part is going to be, as Adam says, getting people to use it, right? And actually, I wouldn't even say it has to, like, you have to build pristine applications. But if you look at like the banker ecosystem, because I think they've done it right, our approach is going a little different, right? They're focused on agents. We're going to be focused on applications. There's obviously an intersection between both of these, but their idea was that you can fund inference through tokens, right? But then also you need people to actually go and use the shit. Like I think Banker, remember we were joking about this before the OpenClaw stuff, but there was like 80,000 tokens launched, and only one of them was over $1 million. But that one that was over $1 million literally carried the entire company to the next section, which was OpenClaw. DRB, that was literally Banker's entire narrative for like 6 months. It was Grok has money, right? They still do that. And then the Grok has money led to, oh, other agents can have money, right? And so, and it just comes from people using it and just taking shots on goal.
Yep.
And so we'll need the community to take shots on goal as well. And it could be for anything. Literally, if you've ever wanted to build any web application, it could be, it doesn't have to be an NFT marketplace. You don't have to go build the next DeFi application. Literally just experiment with shit. That's kind of what I'm going to be doing as well.
I mean, honestly, from an entrepreneur perspective, it's like, this is like the magic time where this was never, I mean, this isn't even close to humanly possible a couple of years ago, where you could try 5 businesses over 5 days. Like, you could actually do that now. That's completely fucking impossible to do fucking even a year ago, right? You had to, oh, I'm going to do a website, I'm going to do a product, whatever. And it took forever. It was expensive. You know, everything around it was just the lift was hard. And that lift is moving very, very quickly to your own creativity and, you know, genius or whatever you want to call it. And that's going to be just this huge differentiator. And dude, retardio mode, which is like, you know, a thing that's trending now, retard mode, like it's happening now, where if you just throw a bunch of shit, just keep throwing shit, all of a sudden you may hit some fucking shit, and that shit can go crazy in like a day or 2 days or 5 days. And, you know, you can literally make millions of dollars in a week, which was completely, utterly impossible a couple of years ago. And so I think it's just amazing time from a creative perspective to just build stuff.
Yeah, I agree as well. Wooden said he's going to build an Emblem launchpad. You could totally do that. That's what the EDP is for. It's just all the tools. It's basically what Emblem Build is, right? It's a vibe code application on top of the EDP, which are all of the SDKs. You don't have to use Emblem Build. You can go just use the SDKs right now and go build it. But obviously the thing that Shannon's doing is simplifying it. Building an application is the same as building a business. 99% of the world is not going to hit it on the first time. There's very few amount of successful founders that ever had that just built one thing and that was it, right? You got like Zuck had one thing. I guess Elon Musk, the first thing that he built was the winner that he sold as well. Mm-hmm. But the majority of people are not going to win. Like Emblem is like my 6th business that I've worked on or been a part of. Like the majority of people are like that. I mean, even Travis Kalanick, I was watching him because he's coming back with his like robotic company or whatever.
Yep.
He had some company I didn't even know. He had like 2 companies before Uber that were just like massive failures.
Totally.
Right. But what Adam is saying, because of the speed of AI, you can literally just crank these applications out as fast as possible to see, you know, what the winner is at the end of the day. Yep. So Dosi said, will the team benefit from Anthropic Claude leak? I did review it. So basically what was leaked is what's called the system prompt. So it's not actually like the code itself on the back end. It's essentially like the internal monologue of the AI itself. So Emblem Hustle, Emblem AI has its own system prompt. Every AI has its own system prompt. Basically the little voice in your head that tells you what to do in certain situations. And that was leaked for Claude. I did watch like a few podcasts and kind of reviews of what was in there. I wouldn't say essentially right. It kind of makes Claude open source now, so you can kind of see. I guarantee all the Chinese models are all just copying the fuck out of that.
Yep.
But it doesn't take away the magic of what the model is itself. It definitely will put them in a little bit of a disadvantage because the competitors now understand the techniques they're doing on the back end, but they still don't have the model and the compute and the inference and training and such. But how does it benefit us? I guess as you look at some of what they're doing in terms of their system prompt, to look at the architecture of how the agents communicate and think through their process. I saw that like with Claude, there was 13 steps between the input, which is what the user is typing, to what the output is of what Claude would say. Typically, it's like 1 or 2 steps for like simple things, but they had 13. So I think people would kind of distill this down to figure out how they're doing it and, make things more efficient. That's how the system prompt is kind of how you reduce the token spend, you reduce the costs, you improve the speed and such, but it's not like the entire premise of the protocol. Chris, did you review any of it all? Did you take the Claude code, put it into Claude and to say, give me a review of what this is?
No, I mean, I just figure a lot of this stuff is like leaked on purpose. Like I think it's quote unquote leaks. I think that their marketing team is really killing it. They had a similar one with Mythos a couple weeks ago where they were like, we have this all encompassing model that we're using internally that wasn't supposed to leak, but now word got out, and it's just like, it feels like they're just feeding the marketing engine. So no, I didn't look at it, but I think that their marketing team is phenomenal.
Yeah. It should be interesting. There was something else. Let me pull up what Adam wanted to talk about. Adam, what do you want to talk about today? The hack from yesterday. Was that one of them?
Yeah, the
drift hack.
$280 million. That's what they say. This was great. They said, think we're experiencing some unusual activity.
Oh, yeah.
On their post. Yeah, I think $280 million leaving your platform is unusual activity drift.
From the assessment, from what I had read, it does seem like this was another North Korea hack. It says it was the same type of exploit that was used in the Bybit hack that had over $1 billion of Ethereum sold. Basically, the private keys are multiple, or I guess you'd say the private keys for multiple of the admins on the multisig were compromised in different ways. Some people are attributing the Axios hack to one of them, but basically there was a 2 of 5 multisig that didn't just control the funds, but controlled access to the vaults itself.
Yep.
Right? And basically what Drift is a vault protocol. So think of it like a Hyperliquid, right? There's vaults that you store your asset in. So I take my Fartcoin, I put it into a Fartcoin vault, and then I use that as collateral to go long or short perps on Fartcoin, right? So you have all these different vaults that have all these different tokens inside of it. And basically multiple signers were socially engineered or phished or something of that nature to get access to those keys. And basically what they did, this kind of combined like the old Mango markets exploit. Basically what the North Korea hackers did, this is what it's claimed to be. They created a token. I think it was called like TCV or something like that. And then because they had access to the protocol, they created a new collateral market for that token. And then they also had access to the Oracle. So they did some Oracle manipulation where they inflated the price of the fake token that they had to 500 million. And then they were able to take that $500 million and basically use it as collateral against all of the vaults. And so then they pulled the value out of the vaults using that fake collateral. And then once the tokens, all of them were taken, I think the altcoins were sold for SOL. And then some of that SOL was converted to Ethereum through multiple cross-chain swap protocols. I think Near and Tencent Change Now were 2 of them.
Yep.
And I think now it's actually all converted to ETH. I think is what happened.
So someone finally bought ETH. So maybe we'll let this one go for the sake of the industry. But basically, what they did was they kind of, it was like a nonce attack where you can these multi-sigs have time delays for permission sometimes. So basically, they waited for someone to sign the multi-sig, and it's like a 205 or a 305, and then they were able to sign for the other two and withdraw the funds. So, even if one private key gets compromised, you have to be prepared that some of these time decay hacks can happen, and they're just waiting for another signer to come on board, and then they kind of brute force their way in through that maneuver. So even though it's a 205 or a 305, if one of them's compromised, you basically the whole protocol can be compromised. So it's tough to see, but I mean, it's hard to be empathetic because they were masquerading as a decentralized protocol, and they were obviously super centralized. And a DeFi hack is nothing new in this industry. We've seen billions and billions of dollars of hacks. You need to secure your funds. You need to secure your treasuries. I have sympathy for the Drift team and everything that they're going through, but it's nothing new in the crypto industry. So I don't know. It's not really headline news for me.
Unfortunate to say the least. Probably will not be the last, but hopefully we figure it out at some point in time. Interesting. So this is breaking news. The talk show TPBN, familiar with that?
Yeah.
Was just acquired by OpenAI.
Oh, wow. That's a good podcast.
It is. What do you think that is? What do you think the theory is then? Is OpenAI trying to get into, is this their like breakthrough to tech? Is they're going to basically trying to monetize media to bring that in?
I mean, they're just looking to acquire a younger demographic, and I think they're trying to get into the business to business, right? They have the consumer market. They're getting totally schlacked by Anthropic in terms of B2B. And so they're trying to kind of brute force their way into early stage startups. And that would be my guess.
Interesting to say the least. Attention economy continues.
Oh, baby.
Continues to move forward. Another announcement that I saw today was that Coinbase announced the X402 Foundation, which I believe was being led by, who was it? It was one of the, Linux Foundation. So today we're proud to join the X402 Foundation under the Linux Foundation, initiated by Coinbase, Cloudflare, and Stripe. So Stripe is joining in on this, even though they have a competitive protocol here. So the agentic payment rail competition is going to continue to grow. Obviously, you have X402 and then Stripe launched their own machine payments protocol. X402 has been around for almost a year now, I believe, at this point, and they're going to continue to grind it out. I have seen on the other side that a lot of people say agentic payments is not real. I've seen like Shaw from Eliza OS say that agentic payments don't exist and it's all a facade.
He has an agentic marketplace, so that's kind of funny.
Yeah.
That's like his whole business's whole like North Star. So I would hope that they come to fruition.
What's your take here on X402? Obviously, the payment rails for agentic services is still quite small. We've been doing our own research on all these task markets like virtuals and such, and the volume seems to be mostly wash trading for the most part.
Yeah,
but that's generally how things work in the beginning. But is this signs of maturation, or is this signs of just trying to force feed something that maybe is too early?
I mean, this is happening. There's no doubt about it. It's in the earliest days, but this is happening. Go to Banker's Twitter. They actually released a pretty cool update, I think, including X402, where you can order, I think, DoorDash with it. And so they're basically the middleware that enables it. I think it was last night. That's probably right.
Oh, here it is. This is right.
Yeah, read that one.
I spun up a paid API point under a minute on Banker X402 Cloud. It's a demo AI agent that finds DoorDash restaurant recommendations for your area, public URL searchable in the marketplace, inference powered by Banker LLM Gateway. So agents and humans can discover and call your service without reading the docs. Just call the X402 payment rail.
So basically what's happening here is we're online, we're terminally online, we're building infrastructure so that agents can execute on-chain transactions in the real world and they can be triggered by humans for all of these kind of activities. And so we're just still building the infrastructure, but that's like a real world example of how this is happening, how early this technology infrastructure is, but it's definitely happening. So basically with that deployment, you can talk to your AI assistant and tell him you want food, and he can actually order the food, pay for it, and you don't have to do anything on your end. So automation end to end is coming. It's very, very close.
Yeah, it is pretty nice. So basically all this works is, and we have an Emblem CLI as well, and you're seeing a lot of these agentic companies pushing their own command line interface. Basically, all the stuff that happens is these companies like Banker, they added a DoorDash service inside of the CLI, and then the agent just goes to the Banker CLI and calls it. Is that how that works?
Yep, exactly. And I mean, it sounds trivial. Like, why would I need an AI assistant to order me a Chipotle burrito? But if you know what you want, isn't it easier to? I mean, you're a techie, so it makes sense for you. But I can just go to my OpenCloud and can say, order me a Chipotle burrito, and it will just do it completely for you end to end. And that's all you have to do. I know it's trivial to open up the Uber Eats app and select Chipotle and go through your ingredients. You know what I mean? It sounds ridiculous from this stage, but in terms of like actual execution, it's like a 10-second prompt compared to like a 3-minute experience. So it's actually 100x better. And if Banker gets, minuscule transactions early on, they can become the standard for human to agent kind of transactions in the real world. So I'm pretty interesting to see them kind of spin off and go that route.
Yeah, it is. It is great to see though. Seeing a lot more agentic spending. See here, even like OKX Ventures is going in. They released their own kind of AI product recently. It was like an AI terminal. It looks like their ventures arm is coming in and investing in a handful of companies. ERC 8004 is getting a lot more popularity. That's the quote unquote trust layer. So think of it as just like an online registry for agents where people can upvote, downvote the agents, as well as get kind of any technical information possible. Then X402 is the payment layer, as we were just talking about. And then they're saying here, Virtuals protocol is the commerce layer, right? So you take all these together, payments, trust, and then commerce, right, where you sell your tasks. So we can sell like an Emblem AI token recommendation or an OpenAI prediction market recommendation or even an execution or something of that nature. You kind of spin them all together and you get a agentic economy. If you go one step higher, OpenCloud, they say, is the application layer, which kind of adds and spins them all together.
And when you think about it, who's going to build the agentic economy? Is it going to be the AI natives, which there's so far and few between, or is it going to be the crypto natives? And who is also, a very small community, but the biggest edge that they have is that they have executable payments available instantly 24/7. If you're native to AI, you would need a credit card or some sort of Stripe integration or something of the sort. But having like native stablecoin infrastructure, crypto natives are very familiar with that, and that's how all this is going to run. So when I think of the agentic economy, it seems like a no-brainer that it's going to come crypto pushed out to the world rather than AI pushed into crypto.
Yep. And also saw yesterday that MoonPay came out with no fees on no agentic fees on payments, I believe. MoonPay, also known as the most extractive commerce on off-ramp layer that exists, is now turning around and saying 0% for agents while charging 5% for on and off ramps for humans.
Yeah, I mean, these businesses are going to get totally thrashed. Even like Stripe, you're paying 3% per transaction. 3% is totally insane. You think of like if you have I don't know, the stock market returns 7% on average, S&P a year. They're charging 3% per transaction on trillions of dollars of invoices. Totally insane. Going to be absolutely devastated by the stablecoin industry.
Stablecoin, yeah, I agree. So some update on this TBPN update. I said John Coogan, who's one of the hosts, says TVBN's been acquired by OpenAI. The show Staying the Same will continue to go live. It's a full circle for him as he worked with Sam Altman over a year ago, who funded his first company through Y Combinator. I did not know that, actually. So full circle moment there. Congrats.
How much do you pay for something like that, Jake or Adam? How much do you pay for something like that?
I would say it's so like acquiring a media company like that, a little bit different than like a tech company, right? Because the cost of it, or the monthly cost of it, is just basically paying the talent itself. There's not as much infrastructure cost for it.
A media deal or an agent deal.
Or an agent deal, right? So you're probably giving them a flat payout of, I don't know, maybe a few $1 million, and then you basically give them the whatever the monthly salary is. And then maybe that's it. I don't know. I mean, you could look at it kind of the same as like when Coinbase acquired Echo. It was an infrastructure play, but it was also like a personality play, right? Because they acquired Kobe on the Coinbase team, which was probably half the value. That was probably half the value of what the acquisition was, right?
Right.
I would say here maybe like 10.
I don't know, man. I think
I would say here maybe like 10 mil or something. Like you maybe give them.
I mean, you got to think.
$4 million each.
I don't know how much it's. I don't know what their viewership was, but it's a big podcast. You got to figure they're making a couple $1 million a year as it is. So I think probably $30 to $40 million that they'd pick that up for, actually.
When Joe Rogan got acquired by Spotify, I think it was 100 million a year, and that was the biggest one in the world at the time. So yeah, maybe around that. But good for them. Does this mean that Anthropic then turns around and buys something similar, and they start going down the attention economy acquisition?
Yeah,
long tail.
I think it's all about the distribution, and so you see smaller stage businesses like ours going more of like a clipping route, kind of going like mass distribution, and they're going a layer up on the funnel even further. So they're controlling all of the distribution from the top down. And so, I mean, if you're not, I think acquiring these media companies, especially if you have, but they just raised $150 billion. Yeah, I think that you can spend a little bit on media acquisitions.
Totally. Makes sense. Honestly, this is like the new media, right? And so rather than paying for ads and shit, which everybody knows doesn't work anymore, you're just basically buying UGC.
Yes, sir. Exactly.
Smart.
Yeah. Congrats to them. It's a lot of acquisition announcements.
A lot of shutdowns. A lot of
shutdowns. Right.
Everyone's shut down. What do you think? Drift ends up having to shut down, or you think someone comes in and bails them out?
You would only bail them out for the branding, but the branding is like completely thrashed now, right? Just because no one want their security layer is totally compromised. I don't think that business will exist anymore.
R.I.P. That sucks. Down. Bad day for the.
I mean, the universe loves irony, and so on April Fool's Day, you get it's like a perps protocol gets hacked for $280 million, one of the biggest hacks in recent memory. On April Fools, you see the post going out, and you're thinking like, this has got to be like some stupid joke. But of course, the founders are having the worst days of their life. They have to tell everyone that they got hacked, all their investors that they lost all of their money on April Fools. I mean, the universe loves irony.
Mm-hmm. All right, here a little bit of a political perspective, but Pam Bondi just fired as the U.S. Attorney General on the, I guess you would say, on the day after Trump coming in and saying that the Iran war is going to continue for a few more weeks. The market, it's kind of interesting to watch. I guess you'd kind of classify this as like wartime markets or something, because of the volatility is so up and down. Literally, it's huge swings. I mean, if you're a volatility trader, this is like your dream. This is like you wait for this like once every 5 years or so for these kind of markets. But Trump came out yesterday, right, with his speech that the war is going to continue. The market completely dumps. Then this morning, the S&P completely comes back. Now it's in positive green for the day. I guess can't even tell what's right, what's wrong, who's up, who's down. But to me, it seems like the war is going to be ending here. Or the battle is going to be ending here pretty soon. So you'd think the markets maybe overreacted in the beginning, and then now they're like, fuck, okay, this is going to end. And we see. But if once the Iran thing cools down with the U.S., is there anything else for bears to be upset about, maybe inflation to some degree, but does this give us open air for a few months at least?
Doesn't feel like anything's going to give us open air, right? Like what could happen? It's going to be like, oh, great, we're bullish now. Like, I don't know. It's got to be something almost out of left field. World peace declared, aliens come down.
Clarity Act?
Yeah, the Clarity Act. No, I don't think any political news, like in the US, like any like regulatory stuff, is gonna like bring back crypto. Like nothing feels that way. Like we need like something
That's like Pico capitulation
Yeah.
of the market market
Exactly.
psychology chart. Nothing will bring us back.
nothing. It's impossible. We need a whole new paradigm, right? We need the AI to come save us and give us a brand new blockchain. It's the AI chain, right? We need that.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Yeah.
The way that I would see it is just that this was like the ultimate betrayal of everyone that believed in Trump, his complete base, all of, everyone domestically had no interest in this military operation. And so now what do you do after a blunder like that? You have to turn internal, and you have to, the way I see it, you have to buy the public back. There's no way around printing a fuck ton more money, and, risk assets respond to monetary debasement. So I don't see how you don't spend the rest of his term focused completely internally. Maybe I'm wrong, but I see that as kind of the only way.
So is it going to be a good America birthday party?
Bro.
2 months, 250.
Doesn't seem likely, but you never know, man.
I'm going to be having a good time. I'll tell you that much. Okay.
I think Dizzy Doe says, crypto fatigue landed. Yeah, we are definitely at that point. But it doesn't take much, man. And in crypto, this for sure. It doesn't take much to turn it around. It only takes one winner, right? To turn it all around. So keep hoping.
It's price leads narrative. So all you need is a few people start buying for that, whatever the narrative is, to
100%.
become the actual narrative.
And I mean, if you're not taking this time to kind of find what is going to be huge in the next, uptrend, and find the biggest companies of tomorrow at this moment, I'm not really sure why you're even in this industry. Like if anyone actually thinks it's over, then you have no business spending your time here. And if you don't believe that it's over, then you have to be looking for what are the next biggest opportunities of the next decade. They're staring you right in the face. I mean, this is the time to be bullish. What do you have as kind of your worst case scenario? Down another 20% on Bitcoin? Like, I mean, you're already down 50%. I think that you'll be just fine. So
yeah, around this time last cycle, this is when I was super deep into ordinals and BRC20. I was like so deep, I was convinced. I was like, dude, BRC20, these things, Adam was like, these are trash. This will never take off. And I was like, I don't know, man. I think these are good. These things are going to go crazy. And they ended up being it.
Yeah.
And that ended up spinning into runes, and then all these other Bitcoin meta protocols. And it's like, you always just got to figure out what the entry point is, right? It's like, if you find at the bottom of the market that it's AI agents spins into vibe coding applications spins into future businesses. And it's like, it goes into next layers, right? And it's never just one item is the winner. There ends up being thousands of them, and then many other industries and markets form. I mean, if you think about it, like last cycle, really at the beginning, at the bottom of the bear market, it was meme coins and ordinals, right? And then meme coins spun into launchpads, right? And then launchpads spun into ICM, and then ICM spun into all these other products. And it's like, you could have literally, and I'm sure there are people, right, who made hundreds of millions of dollars just following, literally just from being in meme coins early. And you just keep seeing whatever the trend is that evolves, right? If you got into ordinals early, you're into ordinals, then you were in BRC20, right? Then you're into stamps, and then you're into Counterparty, and you're into all these other meta protocols, the Bitcoin L2 phenomena. And you can, if you're a trader, you just continue to ride those on and on.
The
Bitcoin L2, man, I haven't heard of that in a long time.
Hey man, we called that shit, bro. We said it was going to be a bloodbath. We called that.
Indeed, it was.
That shit.
I think Stacks is really the only one that's still alive, huh?
I mean, it's funny because that was our theory, was just like, well, the ones that have this big war chest, they'll probably survive, right?
Literally.
Stacks and, but all these others, like, there can only be a couple of these things that are going to.
From the conversations we've had with Stacks, it seems like they're going to have a pretty big announcement here pretty soon on what their vision is. All of the we had this talk a few years ago that all of the L2s, general L2s, are dead, and everybody's gonna have to specialize in some capacity. And I think even the main ones have to, right? Polygon is now we're payments, right? Arbitrum is, I don't know what the fuck Arbitrum is. I don't know what the hell Optimism is either, but
and that's why they probably will, wither away to nothing until they find it or they don't, right?
Base was like, we're SocialFi, and everyone's like, dude, no. And then they're like, we're going to be trading
agents now or whatever it is, bro.
They don't even, they need to be agents.
Literally, the market on Base has been telling them for years, like, let's be
listening.
Agents, and they're just not listening at all. I don't know what it is.
I did see that, like, not a single agent coin has been listed on Coinbase still. Absolutely incredible tech over there.
They did pivot. Right. I mean, Brian tweeted about it. They did kind of do this.
You can't put a coin on Coinbase. Like, what are you doing? Fucking now? Why? What's going on? I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah, a little crazy, but
boys, this is it's been an honor. This is our last show with the Hustle token.
It is.
Believe it or not.
Well, the migration will start next week.
Migration will start. By the time the show starts, some people will no longer have Hustle tokens. They won't yet have Emblem tokens.
That's true.
But they will no longer have Hustle tokens. So this is a good farewell to our beloved Hustle token. Ready for the incoming
had a good run
Emblem token.
Yep. Upgrading. If we just change the word migrate to upgrade, most people probably wouldn't. There'd probably never be a single thing with FUD again, right? Unless it's people who just are upset about something specific, right? But I'm excited for the final chapter of the tokens, right? And unless Solana gets compromised or something of that nature, we create our own layer 1 blockchain in the future. But we have the emblem here, and there's no need to change anytime soon, right?
Well, look, Tensor went to 18 million, 20 million. Hustle went to 40. Makes sense that Emblem's going to run to 80. I mean, that's just
easy.
Just math, bro.
All the stuff that we have coming. I mean, like even just like that Noah AI terminal, just joking that they're going to get acquired for 200 million from Anthropic. That's probably a somewhat of a number that would be believable. That's why they put it right. I mean, you have Emblem AI, the Hustle token at $3 million. I put in our group chat the other day, Harvey, the legal AI terminal for lawyers, just raised $200 million at an $11 billion valuation. And I mean, what is way more easily disrupted? A legal AI terminal that's just based off of past data that's all publicly available, which Anthropic can easily just cut them out completely and steal their product, or an on-chain execution terminal where they have no experience building anything anywhere near what Emblem AI has. So in crypto, Adam, all of us, we're the industry has been beaten down. You're kind of at that what is going to be the next big catalyst, but it's easy to get sidetracked into seeing, like, not believing that these are going to be some of the biggest businesses in the world. So $3 million token today, hundreds of millions in the future.
Be the catalyst.
You got to think about that too. So Tensorium, when it went to, I think it was 16 million, was the top. That was literally the top of the bull market. Like that AI run up of meme coins at the end of Q4 2024, that was the top. Literally, that was like the Pico top, right? Because then Trump became president right afterwards.
Yep.
And then Hustle went to 40 million in the middle of a bear market, right? We're at the bottom of the bear market now, but now we're relaunching, right? The floor is going to be somewhere between 3 and 8 million, depending on if there's volume during the migration. And that's the new floor, right? But then that's the floor at the literal bottom of the bear market. It's like, how much lower? I see a bunch of people trying to call 45K Bitcoin. I mean, it's always possible. I still thought 60K was the bottom to me. I think just institutional investors and people in crypto are just too smart to know that the last few Bitcoin bottoms has been a very violent drop, and then it pop backs up and hangs around for a little while. But it never actually goes back down to there. I mean, it's entirely possible, but I don't know what much more bad news you could get. Can always get worse. It definitely can always get worse. I've learned that, but
definitely.
I know it seems like most things are done. And so it's a good position. We're actually talking with the Bobo founder before this, and he was like, I was hoping that we were still in a bear market when I migrate. Because he was like,
Yeah,
I want to
lower
literally want to migrate at the bottom of the bear market, so I capture all of the upside of the bull market.
That's
like
the mindset.
entire thing.
There we go.
Yeah, he literally said that on the call. It's like, yeah. So look for a lot of Bobo memes. That'll be kind of fun here over the next few weeks. And we're still talking with a handful of other meme coin migrations. Those conversations are always kind of interesting. The tech migrations are always pretty straightforward. The companies are like, yeah, it's my way or the highway. The meme coins, it's always, what if the community splits? What if the community doesn't want to do this, right? What if they don't migrate? What if the exchanges don't list me? Whatever. Tech companies are like, I don't give a fuck. They can, the exchanges list me. They don't. We're starting all over. Bobo is like, I hate exchanges. So if they list us, then cool. He actually kind of brought up a good point when we were on our call. He's like, when we ran to $200 million, we had no exchange listings. He's like, when all the exchanges started listing us, it's been down only since then. He's like, I'd rather start fresh with no exchange listings so we could do the same thing again.
Let's go.
Yeah. So it's kind of a good point, right? Because if you're not on any of these exchanges, everyone's paying the same fee, right? Everyone's paying the same swap fee on chain. And then, because of that, there's no price disparity. Because what you see happen with a lot of these coins, and it's become a lot more apparent as building Migrate Fund, for something like Fartcoin, right? It's at like $300 million or whatever, but the liquidity pool is only 25 million. The reason why that gap gets so wide is because you could push up the price much easier on an order book exchange, where some people are paying literally zero fees, where everyone who's buying on chain has to pay the whatever it is 0.3 or 1% kind of fee. So, we'll see how this goes here, but more migrations, Emblem Terminal. I'm excited for that. I know Shannon's been cooking. The whole team's been cooking, quite honestly. And look for some exciting surprises here. Just make sure you get all of your hustle ready to migrate. And we're going to hop out of here today. We'll be back Tuesday for the beginning of the Emblem migration. Look for the announcement once we do set up the Emblem migration over the next few days. I'll post out a link so that everyone can post about it and talk about it and be excited. Until then, we'll see you guys soon.
Have a good one.